Hey guys, I'm a little bit early, but I thought I'd actually talk a little bit about what I want to do at the end of this jellyfish to get this matte black to not look so matte anymore. So I know that a few of you want to know how I varnish the drawings at the end when I'm done. So I'm obviously not going to do that today, but I'll show you what supplies I will be using for those of you that might want to consider getting them before the time. It's totally up to you, or you can obviously wait to see how I do it first. But hello, good morning to those, you know what I mean. When I say good morning, I also mean good evening to those of you that are in the US. So hey Maureen, hey Luke, hey Luella, nice to see you guys on here. Hey Jackie. Cool. So this jellyfish, the matte black is driving me crazy. I just hate the way it looks on the video. So on this video anyways, on the DSLR it looks really nice. But I cannot plug it into the DSLR because this one is just one camera too old to be able to do that, because it shows all the things on the screen, if that makes sense. So all the little icons on the screen don't go away, and you cannot remove them unless you get a later camera, if that makes sense. So I've got the 60D, and yeah, just not quite right. Radio. So what I'm going to do when I'm done with this, I am going to cut it out very, very straight. So I'm going to cut the border out. Let me zoom out. Okay. So I have a proper little, what is it called? Logan. It's called Logan. So a Logan matte board cutter. So that's what I use to cut my matte boards or to cut my paper sheets. So if I have the bigger sheets, then I use the Logan cutter to cut them a little smaller and keep my edges nice and sharp, straight. And anyway, so that's what I would use to cut the edges really, really smooth. And then I would get a board that's either the exact same size or slightly wider on the edges. So the boards that I like to use they're just simple boards. So they are like this. I'm not sure, what do you call these boards? Are they MDF? Like you can see there's a bit of a texture at the back of it, and then it's smooth over here. And it's about 5 or 7 mils wide, I think. Anyway, so what I like to do is I take a board like this, and I would put this drawing over the top. Let's just use this one as an example. So I have it nice and cut. And I have some smaller boards, so I'd probably use a smaller board for this. But if you want to frame it, then you could leave the edge of the board. If you don't want to frame it and you just want to use a varnish and that's it, then you want to get a board that's the exact same size. And then you're going to take your drawing. Oh, before you take your drawing, you are going to spray it with the final fixative. So I do like using the brush and pencil final fixative on everything. So it's archival, non-yellowing, non-toxic, UV resistant, and fast drying. So I'd spray like 5 or 6 layers of this. So I'd spray a very, very decent layer of this. But also make sure when you're using this final fixative, you are shaking the hell out of the can, because you want it to be smooth. I find that with the brush and pencil fixatives, you have to be careful, because if you don't shake it enough, you could get little bubbles. Have a little toothpick ready regardless, because you probably will get that occasional bubble, and then if you just take a toothpick and pop those bubbles before they dry, then you should be good to go. If you get too many bubbles, then you know that you haven't shaked your can enough. And also you want to hold it at a fair distance, so I'd say about that far at least. I don't know how far that is. So there, if I hold my thumbs together like that, that's how far you want to hold your can from your paper. when you spray the final fixative. Okay, so that's what you're going to do first. Once you have your final fixative on there, so do a layer, let it dry for about 15-20 minutes, do another layer, let it dry for half an hour, do another layer, let it dry for half an hour, and then have a look and maybe do a fourth layer and let it dry until the next day. Then I'd say you've probably sealed it properly with the final fixative. And then what you're going to do is you're going to, so your drawing is now cut perfectly the size that you want. You've got the board the size that you want. Then you want to use a proper PVA glue. So I like using the Landbridge archival PVA glue, but it's up to you. Just as long as you go to an art store or you know where to just get proper archival PVA glue. It doesn't matter what brand it is, as long as you can read up on it and you make sure that it is non-yellowing and acid free, and it's archival, then it should be fine. It should be good to go. It shouldn't matter what brand really. So then what I would do is I would apply this, actually I would apply it straight to the board, and then I'd have a separate sheet of paper over the top of my drawing, maybe some wax paper or baking paper, and then I'd take a roller, like a sponge roller, and I would roll it flat as I can, but I'm rolling it on top of the wax paper, so at least I'm not rolling it directly on the drawing, and then you roll it flat. And then if you end up getting a little bits of glue on the edges, it's okay because you've got the baking paper there, so you're not going to lift it up with your sponge and accidentally put it over your drawing, if that makes sense. So that's what I would do next. So that's how I would adhere it to the board, and it will be completely flat. And then depending on the thickness of the paper will depend on how much of the glue you might have to put down. But then after I've like sponged it down, I would take another one of these boards and I would place it on top with the baking paper still there, and I would leave it like that for 24 hours. So I'd leave it like that for the next day to make sure that the glue dries properly and that it stays completely flat. Only then do we get to the varnishing stage of things. So once we've done that, you can pick, like I've got two varnishes here that I like to use. You can either use a matte one or a gloss one, and the brand that I like is the Golden brand. Now these cans are about $38.30 each, and you know, I say I like to use this, but I actually haven't done this before. So keep this in mind. What I have done is I've watched a lot of videos, and I actually spoke to Aljona Nicholson about these, and she's the one that recommended these, and she's the one that actually talks about this in her book. If you want to, I'm not sure, is it the colored pencil book that she released? That one, I think she talks about how to use varnishes, or she just like briefly speaks about varnishes, and that's what made me ask her the question. And she uses this, and instead of framing a lot of her work, she would just varnish them straight up like that, and she wouldn't even bother with putting glass over her work. So she suggested that you get both, so you can pick if you want the gloss one, which will give it a nice shiny look, or if you want the matte one, which won't give it any shine, but it still seals it enough that you could literally wash it. So once it's sealed that much, if it gets wet accidentally, or if you get a mark on it or anything like that, you can wipe it off. It's not going to affect your drawing because it's literally sealed between like a layer of whatever the stuff is. It's hard, it's adhered, nothing's actually getting to the paper or the stuff on the paper itself. So that's what these are. And then I've also got a giant tub of the Liquitex glass medium. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is my first few layers I would spray with the varnish, and then if I want this to be really thick, if I really want the varnish to be thick and shiny, I'll probably use a paintbrush to apply it, like they do on professional photo prints. But I have a bunch of drawings that I want to do this with that I just haven't done yet, so it will be a test for us, I think. So I'll experiment a bit with it before, and then if I have any hiccups, I'll be able to tell you what I did wrong, and then once I know exactly what I'm doing, I will demonstrate it with this jellyfish, because I know that I really want to use the gloss varnish for this jellyfish so that this background can look black and not freaking matte like it is. Oh, okay. What's the time now? Yes, now it's time to draw. So I thought I'd just start a little bit earlier and just tell you guys about that. But I will be going through all of this again when I do the video regardless. So just again what I'm using the golden varnishes. They are aerosol cans, and you got the archival varnish gloss and the archival varnish matte. So what it says on there, it says a protective finish for fine artworks, removable for conservation purposes, offers good dirt, dust and moisture resistance in a flexible film, contains ultraviolet light filters and stabilizers, providing archival protection, reducing light damage. That sounds amazing. And then I wonder if it gives you instruction. Directions for use. Appropriate for use on wide variety of surfaces, including acrylic oil, alkyd, watercolor, and inkjet prints. Test for your application prior to use on final piece. So Alyona did say that I need to make sure that I seal it properly with the final fixative first before I apply the varnishes. It says visit goldenpaints.com for more application details. Gloss varnishes tend to make colors appear more saturated and darker, while satin and matte will have the opposite effect, make it appear a bit lighter. Okay, so we want it more saturated and darker. And then use properly in ventilated areas. For best results, use at room temperature, shake hand for 2 minutes, reshake for 10 seconds after each minute of use. Be sure nozzle is pointing away before starting, and spray several light coats in a consistent manner. Maintain a constant distance of 9 to 12 inches from substrate surface and an even angle at all times. Start and stop spraying beyond intended area and sweep across surface. Allow a minimum of 15 to 20 minutes between each coat. Change spray direction or turn object between coats to minimize lap marks. Coats may be built up indefinitely depending upon needs. After last coat, allow several hours before handling. For storage or transportation, do not allow packing material to contact painting surface. Cool. So I am pretty excited about using this stuff. I think it's going to be very good. Okay, let me put them away. Right, questions. Oh, cool. Hey, Luella. Luella says, so I've seen Luella's process on the jellyfish. She says she's having a hard time with it, but it looks amazing. And she's used pan pastels for the black background, and she likes it. So that's good. You finished the whole background. Fantastic. Maureen says, I have the golden varnish too. It works well. Varnish in a well ventilated area. Yeah. Will this work on pastels also? I'd imagine so, as long as you seal it at the end with a final fixative before you use a varnish, yes. Hey Diane. Marina also says golden has a great customer service if you have any questions. Cool. Yes. But yeah, I'll play around with it first, and then it's good to know that golden has a great customer service. So if I have any questions, I might just ask them directly, and then yeah, I'll make sure I know what I'm doing before I show you guys in the video. Okay, on a different note, my goal today is to get through 2 of these bottles while I'm drawing this jellyfish. So there may be a couple more pauses than normal, but I need to drink more water. I also put my chair away, so I'm not sitting at all today. I'm just standing. Radio, I think you guys can see that okay. That actually looks pretty good. We struggled a lot with the, I'll probably change as I put my hand there. Yeah, but that looks okay. Right, camera on. Ooh, did you guys see on my Instagram my table that I got? It looks so cool. Let me show you. How far can I bring this out? Okay. So, I can't get this cord out much more than that. Here's a sort of... I need to get much further for you guys to see. But it's at an angle. I have my OT lights up there, my microphone, my other OT lights, my laptop. And yeah, it's a huge A1 board, so there's lots and lots of space on there. And then I have my pencils next to me and some drawers. Yeah. So I really like this, and it's like it is now the perfect height when I'm standing. Cool. We're good. Radio. So there is a better photo on Instagram, so you get a better idea of it, and it's nice because I can adjust it. I can make it higher, or I can make it completely flat, and it feels so nice. Looks so new and clean. Hopefully I can keep it nice and clean. Okay, now I am officially stopping with all that. I got my jellyfish reference close by. And now we can start. Alright, something I noticed about Patreon. When I schedule the posts, and I can't believe I haven't noticed this earlier. So with the students on Patreon that are coming over to watch the live video, are any of you on Patreon? Or are you all direct subscribers? Anyway, so what Patreon does, so for example, I schedule the post for this live stream for the $8 plus subscribers, and so I scheduled it for the post to become live an hour before the stream, or 45 minutes before the stream. But what Patreon did is it did it an hour before that, saying that the stream starts at 9:15 instead of the stream starting at 10 o'clock. So I'm guessing that's what's confusing the hell out of you guys with the times if you are looking at the links on Patreon. So I have figured that out now, so this time I'll make sure to schedule the post properly. So it's scheduling means I'm scheduling for the time that the stream starts, and Patreon will notify you guys an hour ahead of time. Yep, okay. But also, did all of you at least get an email this time? I updated the email list. It took me a long time, but everybody should have received a direct email as well, if you didn't get a notification from Patreon. So hopefully that helps. And I hope you guys don't feel like I'm spamming you, because you probably get a notification email like that every day. But, you know, you can always ignore it if you can't do anything about it on the day. Okie dokie. So this pink over here is going to be as bright as I'm going to get it. And I'm thinking that the varnish is really going to do the trick for us. So I'm not going to try and make it any brighter if I know that I cannot get it any brighter, because that's just the way it's going to be. So now what we're going to do is so if you have a look, I wonder if I can put that there. So you can see we've done the top section, and I wouldn't mind, like these spots on here are actually quite dark, but they look a bit shiny, probably because I haven't blended them with solvent, so they're looking a little bit shiny, so you guys aren't seeing how dark they really are. But anyway, so we are going to work on this whole section first, and then we'll come back to the top if we feel like we need to add any more detailing to that. But I want to get this jellyfish done today. And yes, I'm definitely going with a gloss for this. I want it to be shiny and look, I want it to be shiny. I want the pigment to pop out. And for the black, I don't want any matte on this. The matte black as it is driving me nuts. Yep, I agree with you, Luke. Diane got the email, very good. No way, seriously? Maureen says one good thing about golden is that if you spray the glass and do not like it, you can finish with matte. That is so cool. Okay, good. Okay. Radio. So now to get some of my colors back. Actually, I need to get those Prisma colors that we used before. So Prismacolor has 3 perfect colors for this. So whereas the Pablos and the Luminence pencils do not have these colors, so that's why I took them out of the Prismacolor set. So these are the only Prismacolor pencils I'm going to use, and the rest of them are going to be the Pablo pencils. So I've got Mulberry, Neon Pink, and Processed Red. So those are the 3 that we'll use. I actually think I'm gonna start I'm probably gonna end up holding 3 colors in my hand. So we'll have that one, this one, and so I'm going to have these 3 colors. I'm going to have the Prismacolor Neon Pink, the Light Purple, and the Dark Carmine. So let me get that on the screen. Neon Pink PC 1038, Dark Carmine 089, Light Purple 091, 089. Yep. So I'm going to keep those 3 colors in my hand while we keep working on this part of the jellyfish. Cool, Bob got an email. Yes, you all help each other beautifully. It's very nice. Thanks, Maureen, as well, when you pop in, because sometimes during my live streams I can't always help with any like technical difficulties. So if you're struggling, then ask Maureen. She will probably be able to help you. Everything's sharpened. Now I must remember not to put my pencils down because they'll just roll down. Right. Light purple. I think I'm going to put white in my hand too. I'm going to put the white in my hand as well. So white 001. All of you on the stream now, are all of you on the Student Portal Facebook page? Because as I was going through my email list, there's just like not even a third of you guys on the Facebook page. So I just want to make sure. Yes, thanks, Maureen. So Maureen also says if you ever have trouble getting to a live link, then just let Maureen know and she'll help get you there. Thanks, Maureen. Okay, I just want to make sure these tentacles stand out nice and bright among the background areas. Gareth will help as well. Thank you. Hey, Gareth. Okay. It's quite a bright little orange bit here. Hey, Jody. Oh, you're saying you're not part of the student group. Okay, I need your Facebook email, the email that you use to log into your Facebook. That's the email address I need to add you to the Facebook group. So just send that to me in Facebook and I will add you to the group. What does that mean, Gareth? How's it? It's out of my way. So why would it annoy you? I'm using some of the neon pink. Did you try and build the artist desk, Gareth, without using the instruction manual? Like men like to do, as far as I know. They don't need an instruction manual. You should send us a picture in the Art Hordes page. Okay, so see this section here of the jellyfish, or if you look on your reference, I don't know if you'll be able to see it here. There's like little wavy bits with like tiny light highlights. So you're not going to worry about that. All you want to do is get that color at the bottom. So if you squint your eyes and look at it without seeing the little white details, then that's what you want to do first. So you're not worrying about the white details because we can add that with our white pencil later on. Oh my gosh, I really want to sit down. Okay, so I will allow myself to stand until 12 o'clock. So for an hour and a half, and then I will sit for a little while. Not that it really matters. This one is a neon pink from Prismacolor. There's 3 colors in the Prismacolor set that I do not have in the Caran, Pablo or Luminence set, so I took them out. So any colors that say PC on the list on the screen, those are the Prismacolors that I'm using. It's such a nice pink. Oh, Jackie's saying I'm taking advantage of my last 2 days of holiday and attempting to draw my first cat. Shal and Chantal inspired me, so thanks. Aw, that's good. Oh, I'm not recording. So it begins. Oh, and what I wanted to mention as well, so I was going to do the ebook on the jellyfish, but I do not like the video and how matte it is, so it's not going to look very nice when I have like little step-by-step screenshots, because it's going to look very matte, and I don't want to have to adjust every single screenshot. So I'm going to do the ebook tutorial for this month on the yellow rose instead. On values of the yellow rose. And if I can find the time somehow, if it doesn't take too long, then maybe I'll also do one of the male eye. But we'll see. What, Marie? How did you do that? You know, Marie, I think you're using too much pressure. Start holding your pencil at the back. Because when you hold the pencil at the back, you cannot put a lot of pressure. The closer you hold your pencil to the front, the more pressure you can place down. So if you're having a problem with pressure, or you find that you can't layer much, then you're probably using too much pressure. So move further away from the tip of the pencil so that you are forced to use less pressure. And then see if that's going to help you with the amount of layers you can put down. Far out. I think that's a skill on its own if you can work through sanded paper. Yeah, Gareth, but I take the screenshots as I'm doing the ebook. So pretty much take the whole video and break it down. And then place them straight into pages, which is what I use to create the ebook. I don't have them all. And then I delete them as I've got them in pages. I don't have them all in one spot. Ah, too much solvent, Marie says. Yes. That could really use too much solvent that it actually went through your sanded paper. Oh, that's amazing. Jackie's saying, don't forget to move your toes occasionally when you stand still for a long time. It improves your circulation and void. Yes, I'm sure you guys have noticed that I've been moving around a lot. So I'm changing from one leg to the other leg. I probably should be standing on both legs like this. It feels better on my back. But I guess we naturally tend to slant. Do we? Don't stay like that. Try and stand straight. So this is me standing straight. This neon pink is so nice. Yes, I don't know how many times I stress that in every drawing about how extremely little solvent is required. Teeny bit, like your brush is almost dry. That's how little solvent. It sort of goes out like this. Also, I'm sure you guys have noticed, if you all got the email you would have, so the February poll is open, so you can vote for the drawings there. The one thing that I didn't put on there is the 5-part tutorial, voting for the 5-part tutorial. Out of all this, the 5-part tutorial will be one of those that are in the poll already. So you got 5 options to pick for the US live stream and 5 options to pick for the UK live stream. Both the US and the UK students will get access to both of them. It just means that they will be streamed at different times. So one will be much earlier for those in the UK, whereas those in the US is obviously a lot later. But so the third highest option that will be picked in the poll will be what the 5-part tutorial will be. So we've got a few interesting things in the poll. We've got different kinds of material. We've got water. So we have one with a woman underwater with a lot of silky material. We've got one with a leaf and some stones under a stream of water. We've got different kinds of material. Got like a silky material and more of like a polyester kind of material. We have an elephant, a horse. And I got some of the Mi-Tientes black paper, so I'm not going to apply black like this again. I got the black paper and we'll utilize the black as it is, I think. Because the horse and the elephants have they're very much in shadow, so they have the black backgrounds. So if they get picked, I will be using the Mi-Tientes, or you can use the touch black paper. What else did I have in there? Oh, and I got an orangutan and curly like red orange hair. That is one that one of you asked to do hair, and I think that is probably the most complicated kind of hair that you can draw, so that's why I put that one up there. So you can vote for that now. Marie really wants the elephant. Oh, I think someone's here. Cool. Oh, cool. So Luella just got a sheet of the black. That's good. Marie says the black acrylic paint on any color pastel matte works well too. Luella wants the horse. Yeah, I know that you don't get a second pick, but at least the third most voted for one will be the 5-part tutorial. So, yeah. You don't get a second pick. And Bob's dogs are still looking for the dogs that barked. Yeah, I got some books that I ordered. Not that I ever get time to read. And then I got some... It's... I don't even remember what it's called. But I saw it on TV and I don't know if it's going to be any good. But it's to remove fluff or dog hair. And then you put it in a tube thing and then you pull it back out and it cleans all the dog hair off, and then you can use it again. So you don't have to try and get the dog hair off of the thing that you're using. So even though my dogs have really short hair, they still shed a lot. What am I doing? I'm still using the neon pink. Hey, Peggy, yay! So did you get the email notification and that all good? Jackie, with the veins in a leaf, so if they are really fine, then I would actually etch the veins in first before applying any color. And then I would apply the pencil over the top so the veins would appear highlighted. If you want the veins to be a particular color, then you would etch the veins in, use the very light green color that you wanted, apply it over the veins, use a solvent to make that color go into the etched sections of the veins, and then when you're happy with the colors of the veins, then you apply your colored pencil over the top and you blend it carefully so that that color doesn't go into the veins. Does that make sense? Peggy. Okay, Peggy, can you on my Facebook messages send me the email that you use, and I will make sure that that is the right email. Because if you subscribed via PayPal, then that would be the email that I'm using. If you use a different email, then make sure you send that one to me. And we'll check. But I definitely sent it. You were on my mailing list. So I'm not sure if maybe I got the email address wrong slightly. Yeah, and check your junk mail. Make sure that I am an acceptable contact in your email and that it's not just going to switch to junk mail. Thanks, Peggy. And yes, Marie, you're right. It would also depend on the size of the veins. If the veins are thick enough for you to draw with your pencils, then you would just draw them and use a lighter wax-based pencil to make them pop later on. But if they're really, really fine and narrow, then you probably want to etch them in, because the etching lines are smaller than your smallest pencil tip can give you. So that would give you a very nice fine vein. But yes, it depends on the size of the leaf. Correct. That's looking quite nice. Oh, Marie, you use too much solvent on everything, don't you? Solvent happy. Using the white just to bring this highlight out right next to this tentacle, so it's obvious to see that it is in front of this back one. And that it's not like blending in with it. Yes, Luke, I also sent an email. So check your emails. So the email address, make sure that Shaldine@shaldinefineart.com. Just add me as a contact and then it shouldn't go into your junk mail. Because I do send all the emails out via MailChimp, so if your computer might recognize it as spam when it's not. So, but it's sending from my email, Shaldine@shaldinefineart.com. Oh, and also on Friday, my Friday, your Thursday, for most of you, I'm doing another live hangout, but this time I'm doing it with Unmask Art. So Will from Unmask Art, I think many of you would know him. And he is going to teach me how to use pastel sticks to do soft fluffy clouds on pastel matte paper. So two supplies I haven't used before. I haven't tried the pastel matte paper. I've never used pastel sticks before. So that's what he's going to show me how to do, and both of us are going to, like I did with Valerie where we both had our screens next to each other to demonstrate it, that's how Will is going to talk me through doing white fluffy clouds using pastel sticks on pastel matte. So I'm really excited for that. I think that's going to be really fun. And because he is in Central CEST time, so like those in the UK, so that's going to be an early one. The stream's going to start 5 a.m. my time. I think it's around 8 p.m. CEST time and around 1 p.m. CDT time. Or EDT. EST. Around there. Yeah, he does great work. We've been friends for a while. It's like we've both sort of had our channels grow at the same time. It was really nice to watch that happen. Marie reckons I love pastel matte. Yes. Apparently I need to compare pastel matte to the Mi-Tientes touch and text paper. So a lot of people ask the questions about the difference, how they feel, if you can use them in the same way. So I'm going to have to try so that I can answer that question. Okay, light purple, number 091. And white. Ah, Luke. Okay, good. Far out. You guys are making... I thought that like no one's getting the emails. Well, Maureen said she did. and Luella, I think. So Luke says, I got the email with the links to the live and the poll today. I even acted on the poll because of the mail. Okay, good. This one is in front. So this one is in front of this one. So that's what I did. It is in front. So Marie's a great advocate for the Pastelmayer papers. Marie always gets emails. Cool. Luella says no. No? Look at that. Ah, I see what you guys are seeing on the screen. Oh my gosh, it actually looks like it's flipped over. It's not. It's really, really not. How can I really show you? It is in front. Can you see that? This one here is in front of this one here. Although it looks like it could be switched around. It does look like this one could go from there over the top. But it's not. Okay. But if you draw it either way, it's not going to make a difference. What are you eating? What are you eating? Hmm? You don't have to correct it. Either way, it will still look fine. I can see what you're seeing though, so I can see why you thought that. I love how you're not afraid to correct me. It's good. Now I'm using the dark carmine. What? Dark carmine? Okay, Marie. It is on the Facebook page, the Facebook Student Portal page. I think I put it in the comments of Luella commented on it because she wanted it as well. It's there. You can download that one in the meantime until I can get it on there for you afterwards. Actually, I could probably... Let me make sure I can add it in the Dropbox real quick. Okay, so I've dated it 2018-01. When do we do it? I don't know. 08. I'll just date it that. Smart art box cat. Okay, it should be in the Dropbox folder now. Using the neon pink. Using the light purple. Didn't you, Maureen? If you click on the navigation shortcut tool that says, I think it says reference photos, there's a link there to the Dropbox which has all the reference photos that I've used for all the tutorials on Patreon and the portal. It's also got the color swatch templates if anybody wants them. Dark carmine. And for the older tutorials that used to have worksheets, so like the different kinds of fur worksheets and the different animal eyes worksheets, and those, there's also a place for you to download those worksheets. Also, there's only 10 days left for you guys to submit your January challenge. I think only one of you have done that. Tracy, or I don't know who did. But in the comments, just in the Facebook student portal page, just put your drawing if it's a, and then say please add this to the monthly student challenge, and then tell me what supplies you used, and yeah, so that I know before I talk about it in the next live stream, or for that live stream, should I say. Oh, Maureen. Marie's last entry has a hole. Is the hole magically located in the center of your drawing? If it is, you could maybe make a little clock out of it. I'm using light purple. Ah, dear Marie. I'm looking forward to adding the blues. That's later. I want to add some of these really cool oranges. It's like orange and yellow. So I'm going to add the reddish orange and fast orange. I think the whole street heard. Who said you're sending too many messages? Go for it. That's the beauty about having these live streams, because we are a small group. It's not live to the public. We can chat. Don't be afraid to chat. I'm using the reddish orange. Who told you sending too many messages? Does YouTube tell you that? Nice. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. I guess that's good if you have a lot of people on. But it doesn't matter so much for these shorter, smaller ones. This orange just adds a nice boost of color. Okay, cool. It's looking pretty cool. So now I'm using some of the fast orange. 0300, which I think will be mixed with the white a little bit. Yes. Okay. Carmine. Dark carmine. I'm not using any of the Luminence. I thought I would, but I just haven't. The Pablo pencils have been enough. The colors and everything, I just haven't felt the need to use Luminence. And with this paper, I don't feel the need to use a lighter wax-based pencil over the darker oil-based pencils, because you can still layer light over dark with the oil-based pencils on this paper. So you'd only want to use the Luminence or an oil-based pencil, a wax-based pencil with your oil-based pencils, if you're using watercolor paper. But if you're using the standard paper, you don't have to. I'm going to use some of the blue jeans, number 155. Hey Jamie! I felt so bad because the last jellyfish drawing that we did, I didn't post it on Patreon because I switched over from, what was it, the Smart Art box, and I just straight after that I went into the jellyfish. I didn't schedule it in on Patreon, so Jamie missed out on the link, and she was doing such an amazing job with her jellyfish, and I just felt so bad. But yeah, hopefully that's all sorted now. Jamie, did you get an email? Yeah, this is the underlayer for, I'd say the underlayer, because we haven't blended this part with solvent yet. So I'm using Blue Jeans 155. Okay, good. I'm glad you got the email. I think Jamie wants to surprise us with her jellyfish. She's doing something really, really risky but cool. Oh yes, Luke, sorry, I could have said that. Yeah, you could see the different casing in the Luminence pencils. Jackie says, on my drawing desk I've stuck a note, don't push too hard, don't use too much solvent, light layers, look at your reference more often. Yep, the very words that I say 1,000 times. Jamie, it'll work. It'll work. Just in the areas that I'm keeping black, those areas that are translucent, you'll be adding your other background colors. Whatever's in the background, let's say in the background behind this tentacle, you'd be adding those colors lightly within the tentacle. Still trying to keep shadows, so you could still keep using black, but just like a light reflection in between of whatever's in the background. But like, you took on a serious task. Like, what you are doing with your jellyfish is something that, especially something that I would have fixed in Photoshop first and adjusted the colorings with the background. Whereas you are really pushing your brain, because you are looking at the color of the jellyfish and you're looking at the color of your background, and then you're trying to interpret what they'll be like together on your own, instead of having a reference that's already done that for you. So that's why it's proving to be a bit challenging. Okay. I wonder if we're ready to blend. I think so. Grab my solvent and my brushes. I'm gonna put them on the right there now. Okay, I'm using a number 2 round brush. And I think I'm going to dab it on. You don't have to dab it on, you can move it around. Very gently. Ah, yes, you are correct, Luke. See, I set up these live streams way in the beginning of the month already, before I even knew I wasn't going to use the Luminence. So I need to go back and fix that. Thank you for pointing that out. And, oh, I didn't even notice that I spelled that wrong. I've been spelling it wrong this whole time. Yes, I think this sanded paper would take an airbrush background, but you need to make sure you're using opaque colors, not translucent colors. Jamie's asking, are there opaque and translucent colors in pencils? That is a good question. They're all opaque. It depends on what paper you're using. If you're using watercolor paper, then I'd say that the, I don't know, I guess, let's say when you're using the white oil-based pencil over colors, that a couple of layers that already are put down, the white oil-based pencil is going to have a translucent effect. It's not going to come out over the top of it. It's not going to be opaque enough, so that's why we use the wax-based pencils as the lighter pencils over the darker colors. So it has a translucent effect. It's not necessarily a translucent pencil. Whereas on this paper, if you use a white oil-based pencil, it's going to be opaque. It's not going to come out as if it's translucent. I'm loving this underpainting. It's almost like that's all you'd have to do is put the details over the top and you wouldn't have to do much more. You don't need so many layers. No worries, Peggy. Whatever time works for you. Don't feel any pressure. I know life gets busy. But thank you for joining us for the bit that you got to. I hope you have a good evening. Really? So Jamie, you're having trouble getting a smooth background on the text paper? The solvent is what creates the smooth background. I'm thinking maybe you just need a bit more practice with the solvents. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm just going to take a short little break. Okay, so I finished my first bottle of water. I have some blueberries of this now. Oh, Jamie, using the tissue to get the smooth background on the tech. No, you can't use a tissue on the sanded paper. That won't, yeah. It'll just make a tissue crumble mess. Hey, Mojine. Yeah, I am in love with the background that you created as well. You did very well with that. Okay, I wanna work a little bit more on these tentacles here with some of these purples. So let's bring in the mauve 111. Good night, Marie. Thank you for joining us. No worries, Diane. Oh, and is it this week or next week? I think it's this week that I'm doing the otter for the UK live stream. I mean, that means I'm getting up twice. Twice. 2 early wake ups. Let me check my calendar. Okay, so my Thursday and your Wednesday, we're drawing the otter, and that one's going to be live to the public because I got some free pencils from Derwent's. which is pretty cool. And I'm going to be using, so again, I'm going to be doing that with a small set of Derwent pencils, not a big set. I think the set's only, I don't even know, where are they? These two. So these are the two sets that they sent me. So they're only two sets of 12. And I'm going to be drawing the other. What is the difference between Pro Color and Studio 12? I need to look this up because I don't even know which of the Derwent pencils are oil, which are wax. Maybe you guys know. Can you guys tell me what the difference is between the Pro Color and the Studio 12? And if I can use them together. And then they will be done live and then I'll be giving them away at the end. See you, Luke. I know that Art Gear Guy did some reviews on them, so I'll go have a look at them when I get the chance. There's just not enough hours in a day. Pro Color are the newest ones. So are they the same? Just newer. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Jamie. Yeah, I'll only go live if if I'm getting free supplies. I think it's only fair. I mean, these companies are making the effort of sending me something. I don't have to pay for it. And then at least it gives them a little bit more exposure if I do it live and not just to my students, because they're not going to see it if I just do it for my students. So I'm sort of trying to do two things at the same time. And then I also, and it's fun because I give it away. So if I'm getting it for free, I'm going to give it away as well. And then the super chat certainly helps me with postage and stuff, because postage can just get so expensive. But thank you. I'm glad that you guys don't mind. It's not going to happen all the time. That's it. Apart from the Smart Art box and these Derwents, I haven't received anything else. So who knows when the next one would be. Oh, Luke hasn't quite gone to bed yet. Derwent artist pencils are like oil-based. Derwent Color Soft are like wax. Derwent Drawing has nice nature palette. Derwent Studio, I don't know. Okay. But I can use them together. That's it. So if I can use both tints together, which end up making a... Hopefully the colors aren't too much the same. They probably will be. Oh, we'll see how far I can get with drawing an otter with only 12 pencils. It'll be good. It'll be good. And it's also one of those, good to see how far you can get with a small set of pencils before you decide to invest in a bigger set of pencils. But I'll do my research before I do the live stream. Okay, good night, Luke. Thank you for that little bit of input. It was helpful. Okay, so that's the purple now. I did go a bit crazy with the purple over here, but that is okay. What I think I want to do is I'm going to use the black now. So black, Ivory Black 496. And just create almost like little texture marks with those areas that need to be just a little bit more in shadow or darker. Just to make it die down a little more. Yeah, Luke, I think it's like, what, 1 a.m. around 1 a.m. So yeah, you definitely need to go to sleep. Jamie, that's like the most difficult question for me to answer. I don't know. Maybe around 2 more hours? Maybe? Maybe a bit more, maybe less. It's very hard to say. But it's getting finished today. I don't care how long it takes. Today is the day. Because then when I start doing the fantasy art piece, I'm still gonna have to shift things around a lot anyways. It's not gonna make a difference. It's not like I can leave one drawing here because I'm doing so many other things at the same time. Oh, thank you, Majin. Yeah, I'm liking the blend of colors too. Oh, Jamie, you are a super awesome student. Don't you worry. You still have a life to live. You still got to do those things. So go for it. Let's add texture. Oh, it's gonna be fun when we get to use the titanium white to do these very bright white highlights right at the end, right at the very end. The fish are going to be cool. Oh, the new fantasy art piece that I did. With all the Siamese fighting fish together. Yes, that is going to be cool. Okay, I'm going to use some of the neon pink. No, I'm going to use some of the processed red, PC994. Processed red and mulberry. So those are the other two Prismacolor pencils. So Process Red PC994. And Mulberry PC995. Sharpen them. Oh my goodness, Majin. That would have been an experience. It's freaky. I think. This music almost sounds relevant. It's funny. I'm using some of the Process Red. I'm glad your cat's okay. Hey, Jackson, you need to play with your brother Dexter. Just saying. You know, people who might watch this live stream afterwards will think I have kids, and that's what their names are. Did it work, JB? Oh, I love the colors. I'm starting to like my jellyfish a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to use some of the mulberry. So it's just this slightly more purple than the color I just used. Okay, I've been standing for 2 hours. I think I'm allowed to sit for a little while. So still using the mulberry. Thank you, Luella. Yeah, I think the arms of the jellyfish are looking pretty cool. I'm not sure if I'm liking this playlist. Okay. Now I'm gonna add some white to some of the areas that are lighter sort of here, because over the top of that we're going to be adding all those spots. Oh, is that what you guys mean? Don't fall asleep. Yeah, okay. Let's get some more upbeat music, shall we? Let's. Let's go best of 2017. We've played that one before. Summer Crush album. Let's see what that's about. Oh, there's only 3 songs on there. No, not Christmas. Lush Beats. Let's try that one. Okay. Okay, under here. Okay, we're going to come back in with some nice oranges again as well. Ooh, okay. I just got a notification from eBay. So, I have been watching so many YouTube videos on the fluid acrylic pouring paints, and it's so addictive. Like, you watch those videos and you just want to try it for yourself. So I have found a very clean and tidy way of doing it. I won't do it as a tutorial. I first want to play around with it. But I definitely want to try them on canvas and then use like a watercolor ground over the top on a section so that I can put something in pencil over the top of it. And those will make beautiful little giveaways because you can just get such beautiful effects with the acrylic pours. Anyways, I bought a whole bunch of small canvases, like really small, and then I'm going to put it in a box. And I got fluid paints from Golden, so they 116 ml or 118 ml bottles. And you only need a tiny amount. Like, I'm not going to waste as much paint as what they do in a lot of the fluid pouring, the acrylic pour videos. They waste so much paint. It's just too expensive to use that much paint. And it's just something extra that I want to do because it looks like so much fun. And it is fun because I got to try it. I got to try it the messy way though. But I think I'm going to try it the more conservative way and see how we go, and then I can also experiment a bit with the watercolor ground and see how far it can take us, because I think some of you would like to know how to use watercolor ground, because you can use watercolor ground on any surface, literally any surface. So yes, I think that's going to be fun. I'll have a go with that, and that I would be able to do under this table. I just have to make this table flat, and then I put a box here, and then I'll work in the box with acrylic pours with plastic at the bottom to catch any of the paint dripping, and it's going to be small, really small, so I'm not going to need a huge space. So I'm excited to give that a go. I can do that live for you guys if you want to see, just for you. I won't do it like as a public live stream, because it will just be a bit of fun experimentation as an extra video, so it wouldn't be part of the student portal thing or anything. But it does look like so much fun. It is so much fun. When I did it the first time, I just wanted to keep doing it. Yes, yes, you can also use straws to blow some of the paint around. Ah, Jackie is asking, what is watercolor ground? I'll tell you in a sec. So, watercolor ground is like, it looks like a white gesso paint almost, but it's got a little bit of like a texture to it, like it's almost got a sandy texture to it, very light sandy texture. You can get some watercolor ground that is very, very textured, so it depends on what you get. But you can get a smooth textured watercolor ground, and all it is like you're painting a texture that can absorb watercolors or liquids or pigment. You're painting the watercolor ground on a surface. So if you want to paint a rock, for instance, then you would put the watercolor ground paint the watercolor ground on the rock first, and then you'll be able to use watercolor paints or pencils or acrylic paint or whatever you want over the surface. And it doesn't crack or anything, so it just creates a surface for you to work on. If you're painting it on things that, like I would, for instance, with the acrylic pours, I would use colored pencil. I can't use colored pencils on top of acrylic paint. I'm going to have to put something on top of the acrylic paint that can take colored pencils. So that's why I'd need to use the watercolor ground. But I wish you could get clear watercolor ground. Wouldn't that be amazing? But you can't. It's white or black. You can get it in various colors, but you can't get a translucent one. Oh, Jamie is asking, you've used reddish orange, a color I don't have. Could I lay red over orange to get the same kind of color? Yeah, sure. Yep. You don't have to use the exact same colors. You can substitute for sure. Because, like, even if you look at my colors aren't exactly the same. Like, this is a very bright orange. It's almost quite neon-y. And mine looks more like a mustardy yellow kind of orange. So really, you can have a play. You might have a better orange. Yes, Jackie, it is then like a bit of a sanded paper. It is. So that's that. I wish I used it on the Muhammad Ali. So I wish that I gessoed the MDF board and then applied the watercolor ground before I did anything. Because then I would be able to use airbrush and freaking paint and whatever I wanted and pencils over the top of the watercolor ground. But I didn't. So unfortunately, I destroyed the Muhammad Ali. Because I didn't prep my surface properly. But at that stage I didn't know about watercolor ground, and then when I did find out about watercolor ground, it was too late. But yes, I'll show you how it works. It'll be fun. So I totally want to use some like old CDs. Like we got heaps of CDs. Like who uses CDs anymore? I don't even know. But they would be so good if you use the acrylic pours on them. You can create little clocks. Or if you have really old records that don't work or that you don't listen to, you could make a big clock using a record. I saw someone do that. That looks fun. And then I got a little cake spin top table thing to adhere something on there if you want to spin it around to get a cool design. So, yeah. It will be fun. CDs made great drink coasters. Oh my gosh, we could totally do coasters as well. And you can do acrylic pours on Yupo paper. I saw someone do that. I got heaps of Yupo paper. So we're just gonna have to experiment with it all. But we gotta add colored pencils in there somehow, because pencils are my thing. But like if I could get a little drawing over a acrylic poured background, it would make such a beautiful postcard or print. It would just be so pretty. Oops. Well, yeah, if you, of course, because the fluid pour is acrylic paint, so you can paint something detailed over the top of that. It would be beautiful. I think Lisa's actually got a few videos like that. Okay, let's get some nice orange. Actually, let me check. I'm pretty sure I got a super cool neon orange in the Prismacolor set. Yes, I do. Okay, look. We've got this really nice neon orange PC1036. That is one thing I do love about Prismacolors, is that they have some really cool colors that most sets do not have. So that's what's nice about being able to mix them with other pencil sets. Neon orange. I guess also a lot of other pencil sets don't have it because the neon colors aren't very light fast. PC1036. So they ain't gonna stay neon for a long time. That's why. I wonder if I need to... Does anyone know with the big electric sharpeners like the School Smart sharpener, if they don't really use a blade though? Because the grain on the sharpener, I don't know if you'd be able to see that. Do you see how rough that is there? That's what my sharpener's doing to it now. I'm wondering how I fix that. I don't want to do that with the Prisma, it'll probably break it. Okay, manual sharpening. Oh, we got this sharpener in the Smart Art Box kit that I didn't even try. What's this one? Longer one, shorter one. Oh, that feels very nice and sharp. I just want to give it as longish as a sharp point. A longish one. Okay, let's use some of this neon orange, some of these areas. Amal, hello. She says these tentacles look amazing. Thank you, they are starting to look pretty good. Oh, yes, that is a good orange. Very good. Okay, now dark carmine. I need to drink my other bottle of water. Yeah, you can replace the blades in your stapler sharpener. See, mine doesn't have blades. My School Smart sharpener, it's got like this barrel that twists, and along the twisty barrel is like sharp edges. So it's not a blade. There must be a way for me to be able to sharpen it. I'm using the dark carmine, if I didn't say that already. Actually, I want to use a red, a bright red. Maybe we'll try some of the Scarlet 070. I just want to try this before I put the color on the screen. Yes. So Scarlet 070. Might have to clean it or replace it. I shouldn't have to replace it. I thought that was one of the blades that would last you years. I think someone did tell me that when you use a lot of wax and oil-based pencils, that it's good to sharpen some graphite pencils to just get that extra wax and that off of the blade. So that might be the issue. I'll have to look into it. I don't think I can remove the barrel to clean it. I definitely don't want to put that thing near water. But I'll have a look. I will have a look. Okay, so I'm using the Scarlet. Gosh, these colors are so pretty. No, thank you. That is not my kind of music. We are not having a good music day at all. Not finding the right playlist. This red almost adds a nice brightness to it. Oh. Yeah, I'll have a look on YouTube. Thanks, guys. Okay, I feel like I just want to add some of this red in here. Just because there's so much color going on here, but not as much color going on in here. So I want to add it some spots just to make it balance out a little bit more. You know. So even though you may not see this in your reference, it's likely to be there very subtly. Your eye just doesn't notice it. So whatever if you got a lot of color in here, usually whatever's like in the background is gonna sort of reflect in the foreground, even if it's very subtle. But it's always good to add whatever colors you have in one section, add it to something that's right next to it, if that makes sense. Add it lightly. sort of like the texture that's going on there. So now when I blend this in with my solvent, I'm going to use dabs. I'm just going to dab it. So I think I will use this round brush. So number 4 brush. Dip it in my solvent. Still make sure that my brush is almost dry. Very little bit. And then I'm going to dab it. Dab, 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 dab. Keep the texture going. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. So still the texture of the pencil, just eliminating the texture of the paper, because we don't want the texture of the paper. Okay, and then for the tentacles, because they are very fine, you would use a smaller brush to blend that in, because you don't want that to, those are pretty sharp edges, so you want to keep them nice and clean. Don't worry if you lose your white too much when you blend like this, because this is where the titanium white is going to come in handy for the brightest of highlights, which we are getting close to. Oh my gosh, that looks so nice. Wow. I really like that. Okay. So now what I'd like to do is I'm using this teeny tiny little 2.0 round brush. And this one. And we're gonna work on these tentacles here. So we wanna sort of blend some of this in a little bit smoother. You can dab it as well. I'm using such a small brush because some of these areas are really fine. Jody, that's so sweet, thank you. I love reactions like that. Why aren't you playing? Okay. I think back to the white over here. Just create little circular motions, because we want to start putting these spots over the top there. And then some of the light purple over the top of that. And then what else do we want this? We want some of this here. Okay, now I'm going to do what I did on the head here. So I'm going to go in with the black first, and then I'm going to put the dark carmine over the top. So I'm going to create all these spots. Oh, that sharpened it completely smooth. The sharpener is getting a little bit full. Maybe I just need to give it a proper clean. Clean and brush. Oh no, Margine, I'm gonna practice a little bit on a few others and just watch a few videos and make sure that I'm doing it properly. And then when I'm ready, then I'll do this one. I will spray it with a final fixative today if I'm done. The varnishing will happen another time. It also depends on what you guys vote for in the tips and tricks video for this month. I'll probably do it even if you don't vote for it in the tips and tricks video, in the poll. I'll have to see. I don't see anything. Where did you send it? I don't keep track of sport. I don't watch any sport at all, so I don't even know how the rules work half the time. I find watching sport extremely boring. Okay, this playlist isn't doing very well. Let's go pick another one. Let's go latest tracks. See what there'll be a whole range of different genres of music. Okay, I like that. And then we go back in with the dark carmine to add this red in there. It's not as bright under there as I'd like, but that's okay. We won't get it any brighter. Just do the black again on this edge here. Okay, let's have some fun with the titanium white. me just change the battery in the camera before it dies. Actually, I know I need to add a bit more black at some spots. Okay. So these are supposed to be more translucent, so just in between some of these wavy bits I want to add more black. That's better. Yes, that's better. And let's use some of our neon pink and brighten these up, because on the white on the side of these tentacles now we are going to add the titanium white to make them pop. Okay, no worries, Luella. Okay. Where is my titanium white? Here it is. Oh, I have a water spray bottle. I could be using that in the cap instead. So don't use the same brushes that you use for your solvent, for your titanium white, because you're spraying water in your titanium white, you're not using solvent. That wasn't very smart. I sprayed the spray bottle and I just sprayed the titanium white all over the freaking place. Okay. So I'm mixing it up in here. I put some of the powder in there. I'm taking a watercolor brush. Looking for all those sharp wide highlights. Use a smaller brush if you're not comfortable. Oh my gosh, how cool does that look already? Wow. Making you guys spend too much money. Although titanium white, you're only going to get once in your lifetime because you are not going to use this quickly. A little bit goes such a long way. Wow, I just want to do this all over the place. Oh, highlighting is just one of my most favorite things to do. I'm sure you can see why. Oh, camera check. Yep, all good. Thank you very much. Jamie, the artshop.com.au for Australia. I think that's the only place I've found that has it. Wow. Oh, you're so lucky. You can actually drive there. Yeah, this stuff's awesome. Alyona, I'm so glad she created this stuff. It's amazing. And Alyona's so friendly too. She's very approachable, and she's very quick at asking any questions. And I know I saw that Lisa actually put a video up on how to properly use the powder blender, because I don't know how to use that stuff properly. So that's a video that we should probably have a look at. Oh, cool. Marjine watched the video and she says it's terrific. So I'll have to have a look. See how Lisa does it. Oh, how's that for a nice zoom in on my hand? Sorry. My cameras are so close to each other. I'm going a bit too bright there. Well, it's definitely worth every cent of that $20 because it's going to last you forever. You only have to buy this stuff once. Yeah, I joined her Facebook group too, but I haven't actually had a look at it yet. Oh, how good does that tentacle look? And if you overdo the white, you can just wait for it to dry properly, but you can go over it again with pencil. Oh, Jackie, you terrified yourself. Aww. If you dilute it with water enough, you can get it fairly not quite translucent, but not as opaque, if that makes sense. And then you can start doing these like softer, brighter sections. this is just making the jellyfish just glow. It's supposed to be more upbeat music. Come on, come on. I'm adding a little bit of extra glow in some spots. I just cannot help myself. It is so pretty. Soften that up there. Now for these cool, like, wavy, tentacly bits. It is so pretty. Far out with this music. The YouTube playlists are better. I should just go straight to YouTube. Oh, Jackie, that's wonderful. Aww. Luella, you're gonna make me cranky if you say things like that, because you are comparing what you are able to do with what I am able to do. And remember, I've been doing it for a bit longer than you have. I've spent a lot of hours drawing, so you cannot compare. You just cannot compare. It's like someone who's never cooked before in their lives, watching a gourmet chef do something once and thinking that that person will get the same results. It's just not going to happen. It's something that takes time and practice and patience and cannot compare. Exactly right, Maureen. The only person you compare anything to is yourself. You just heard what cranky Sheldon sounds like. Okay, I need to work on this section more. I'm not happy with this section. It needs to be much brighter in color. But I love the ends of the legs. They look really nice. And I love the top. I went totally overboard with the highlights, but far out, that was fun. And I think for something that's glowing, you can go overboard with the highlights. These areas here, so I'm using a smaller brush. Okay. So this is the same as a full-size print. So, I don't know, A4, 11, 8 by 10 or 8 by 11, something like that. No, it's not A3. So, look at all those little white spots that I splattered there. Right. Okay, there's some colors I want to brighten up. So I'm pretty sure I'm done with solvent now. So when you know that you're not going to apply solvent anymore and you're doing final layer touch-ups, you can use pressure. So I want to create some brighter pinks in here. So I'm using the neon pink and I am using pressure. Now I really want some more neon pink in here. Try and go in between the whites. It hasn't completely dried, so you can move it around a little. Okay, I'll need some of the neon orange. Sharpen that a bit. So yes, on the final layer you can burnish, because I don't want to do too light because there is still texture of the paper. So if I do a light layer, that texture is going to come through. But because I know it's a final layer, I can burnish that so that I avoid the texture of the paper showing up. Final layer, you can burnish. Yeah, totally. You can use the Uniposco pen for the white highlights. know there's no orange in there, but I like that orange in there. I just want it in there. Oh no, the card is full. Okay, I have another SD card. Oh my gosh, this is gonna look so nice when you finally get to varnish it. Some other colors. Add some of the processed red. Okay, what else? I think I'll just add a bit of black here. Make those stand out from next to the highlights a bit more. It's a bit better. Darken some spots up a bit more. I don't know what else to do. I'm gonna use my solvents just in these parts on the tentacle, just to smooth that out. Come on, give me a bit of music. Okay, I think I will just go over these freaking spots that I made with the white, just with a black pencil. And then blend that in. Let that dry. I need to blend this black in here. I know it's gonna make it look matte, but that's fine. It's the varnish is gonna bring all of this out, make it pop. I think we are done. What do you think? You're gonna have to excuse the reflection because it looks like shiny with the light because of how matte it is. But yeah, I think I like it. I think once we make it all glossy with the varnish, it's gonna look insane. It's going to look insane. So use the dark carmine and just add a bit more texture over here. I'm gonna use it's golden, the brand is called Golden, and it's an aerosol varnish. So you can get a matte or a gloss. Thank you. Okay, so now let's sign it. Let's use pink. Purple. So I'm using a light purple, number 091. And I think I'll sign it this side. There we go. Yay, I'm so glad we got the jellyfish done. Now, my jellyfish is way more highlighted than this one. But, I don't know, I think those highlights are going to have a nice effect once it's varnished. And then, once it's varnished, it will be black like this. It will not be black like this. So, it's going to be pretty cool. And I'm going to be using the gloss varnish, not the matte varnish. Yeah, thanks guys. So I have bought pastel mat, so we'll be trying it out and seeing what we can do with our colored pencils on the pastel mat and see what it's like compared to the Mi-Tientes touch and text paper. But that'll be later on. I think it's lunchtime. Oh my gosh, yes, it's almost 2 o'clock. We did well. So today was 4 hours, but at least we can say the jellyfish is done. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave it for a bit, and then I'm going to go to the garage and I'm going to spray it with final fixative. I'm going to be using the brush and pencil final fixative, and then I'm going to spray about 3 or 4 coatings, about 15 to 20 minutes apart from one another. And then I will, when I'm ready to varnish, I will cut it properly and I will get a proper board that I'll adhere it to with PVA. But when I get to that stage, I'll let you guys know, and I'll do it live so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah. Alrighty. Where is it? There we go. Thank you for joining me today. It was really fun. So that's it for the jellyfish. We've done 4 parts of this tutorial. The only next thing that you'll see with the jellyfish is when we get to varnish it. But I'm hoping to do a couple of different ones at the same time, so you'll be able to see me do the jellyfish and some others that I want to do too. And yes. So coming up tomorrow, what's happening tomorrow? Okay, tomorrow we're going to spend as much time as we can carrying on with the fantasy art piece. So I'll probably spend 4 or 5 hours on tomorrow's one, the fantasy art piece, and see if I can get all the fur of the cat done. Ooh, that's a lot of fur. But if I can get all the fur of the cat done, then that's like the biggest part done, and then the rest are smaller sections. And then Wednesday, I don't have anything scheduled in for Wednesday, but I'll probably, I don't know, we'll see what happens on Wednesday. And then Thursday I'll be doing the otter live, starting nice and early. And then on Friday I've got the Google Hangout with Unmasked Art, where we'll be using pastel matte paper and pastel sticks. So I'm going to use the Faber-Castell soft pastels, which I should be getting in the mail before the time. And then Will is going to talk me through how to create nice, soft, fluffy white clouds using pastel sticks on pastel matte paper. So that's going to be really cool for Friday. So that's what's coming up this week. And then when we get closer to next week, I'll let you guys know what's coming up for next week. But also the February tutorial poll is open now on the student portal and the sub-tier portal. So go and vote for what you guys want to see in February. That's going to close on the 28th of January. So that's only open for 10 days. And then that gives me 5 days before next month to start putting everything in and scheduling everything for sure. And yeah, that's the only updates for now, is the poll and the hangout on Friday. Oh, and also, if you are not a part of the Facebook portal page, then I need your email that you use to log into your Facebook. So I might be using, you might be subscribed to me with a different email to what you use in Facebook, and that's why it's not working. The invitation isn't working. So you have to send me your email that you use to log into your Facebook, and then I'd be able to add you to the group directly, and you can get access to the Facebook student portal group. So make sure you send that to me. And then also, if none of you have been getting any emails to let you know about what's coming up on a live stream, then make sure you check your junk mail, because the email that I'm sending from is shaldine@shaldinefineart.com, and make sure that that's a friendly email and yours, add it to the contact list, and that way it doesn't go to your junk mail. And then if you still haven't received anything from me, let me know, and I can double check if the emails are correct in my email list. Okay, that is it for today. Thanks, guys. I'm actually really happy with the jellyfish, and I'm excited to see what it's going to turn out like once we are done. Can you imagine if I did an acrylic pour first, And then did the jellyfish with an acrylic pour background. Oh, wouldn't that have been pretty? Because then I would have used the watercolor ground, applied it there, and then I could apply the colored pencils on top. But we'll find something to do that once I start playing a bit more with the acrylic pours. Okie dokie. Cool, Jackie. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see a few of you as well tomorrow. And thank you for keeping me company. It was very fun. Alright, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.